Hey everyone and welcome to this video. My name is Sai and I'm going to show you around in Savannah. So let's get started. First off, this is the spawn point. You can see the badlands, we have a jungle and there will be a volcano here shortly. You can also see these giant assets that create some nice overhangs for your first shelter, for instance. You could also just go in between them by boat. Let me set the date time. Furthermore, if you explore a bit in the badlands, you will see these weird leaf formations, and if you look from them from above, you see that they are always directed towards some kind of entrance. Let's dive into these entrances. Let me give myself some night vision. As you can see, this is just a prototype, but small caves or big caves, connected systems, will be made in all future maps. In this one, you can see it as a mob farm. In the future ones, there will be a lot more features, such as excavation sites, small villages, and some rebel outposts. From the underground you can see how connected these are. And also that there's vanilla caves. Do know that there's no vanilla caves around the custom caves, so that they don't break. This makes the underground a bit more tedious to explore, since you cannot really walk through caves and just go somewhere. For the underground as well, there's custom mine shafts with custom loot. As we can see, all the chests, let me find another one. Here. All the chests will have different kinds of loot, just like vanilla Minecraft, meaning that you will need to explore these caves, otherwise you will not find some items. This enchanted book is not so good. Lastly, for the underground, you will find mob spawners that spawn the mobs such as slime, zombie, skeleton and spider. Yes, I didn't name spider yet. Also in here you will find randomized loot and a fully custom mob spawner. Let's see if I can spot another one, since they are quite fun to see. And then you can also see the variation in them. This is one. This is a zombie one. So a zombie one is a more dull one. A spider one will have a lot of cobwebs, as you can imagine. And a slime one contains some slime blocks. So you can already get started on your first slime machines. Then we have ascended into some taiga biome. These taiga biomes come with the usual berry bushes, taiga trees, and also here you can follow the leaves into some holes. These make for great hideout spots. Let's move a bit further along. Oh, here we have our first mountain chain, which we can see if we just load in some chunks. These mountains were made with the intention of making very orange mountains, with the snow making sure that there's some nice contrast. You will see these across the map in, I believe, a diagonal pattern to make a boundary between some warm biomes and some cooler ones. So for instance, now we're in a warmer biome, such as the desert. We can see also here that there's desert animals spawning, and that's the same for all the biomes. All biomes have designated animals to spawn. So we can check here in the mountains if we can find some goats and alpacas. Yes, we can. And these alpacas and goats, they are solely spawned in mountain biomes. Same for, let's say, horses. Horses are only spawning in plains biome or rolling hills. In the desert biome, you will find these nice oases. these caves again, some cacti, not too many since we like it to be barren, and the melon fruit. So exploring is once again key into playing these maps, since you want some melons. They are nice for some potions and they're overall just a good form of nutrition. Then we end up in the red desert biome. As you can see, this biome also contains caves, oasis and cacti, but also fossils and giant assets where you can walk through and play with. I personally find this biome to be my favorite one, since I really like the assets. Let's try to see if we can find another biome. The map is 7,000 blocks wide and 4,000 blocks tall, which means that I will not be able to show the entirety of the map in this video, as you can imagine. Then it will be an extremely long video. You will also find mountain chains like this, which in my eyes look spectacular. They look extremely tall, very wide and impossible to traverse. Then, if we move away from the mainland, you can find these tropical islands. These tropical islands usually include some statues, villager statues, as we can see here, some palm trees, and here and there some custom caves again, such as here. Let's see if we can find some underwater beauty, since underwater there's a lot of updates. On the water you can find some boats. It is unlucky that we now see 2 of the same ones, but there's 13 different varieties of boats, all coming again with custom loot inside. This is a good one. If we now look under the water, you will find some assets. Let's see if it loads a bit. For instance, this is an underwater volcano biome. It is quite a small biome, but you can see that the assets are placed in one unity. Also in here you can see that animals are spawning for both the Bedrock version and the Java version. Let's move along. Let's traverse the mountain. As you can see, flying this makes it easy, but imagine if you have to walk up, it will take a serious amount of time. Here's a baobab biome. As you can see, the baobab biome is sparse, it's rough, and in general the trees are a bit bland, which in all honesty transfers to a day in the life of a baobab tree. With the increased render distance, you can clearly see how massive the world is and how much variety in height there is. The variety in height makes sure that around every corner there's something completely new. Because I am flying above it, but if you have to walk through it, by the way, quite a nice waterfall if I say so myself. If you have to walk through it, you will be surprised around every corner with the beauty of the generation. Now let's move to the swamp biome. And as you can see, the swamp biome consists of many different trees. And also in here you will find some melons. The swamp biome is the only biome that includes these blue orchids. So make sure to check those out. Let's move along. Here we are again in a nice taiga biome. Some small plains. And there's a coral. Let's move to the coral. You will find spots on the map which are solely a warm ocean biome. This is one of them. A warm ocean biome only includes coral like this. However, if we can spot it over here, there's also a designated coral biome, which includes giant coral assets where you can swim through, swim above, or swim below. Luck is on our side, since now we have found a way into the jungle biome. The jungle biome is a super populated area with flowers, pumpkin and melons. I have deliberately chosen to not use a lot of low-hanging trees, since that just makes the jungle biome a pain to traverse. From the side you can nicely see that the jungle biome consists of multiple layers. So you have the tallest roof layer, then one below them and one below those. In my eyes, amazing to make tree houses and such. Let me set the time again to day. Again, here's a nice red desert biome, which again in my eyes looks absolutely incredible. Then we'll find a desert biome again, the baobab biome, and I believe quite a large mountain chain here. As you might have guessed already, there's a general theme in this world, which is warm. You will see a lot of savannas, oasis, deserts, red deserts, baobabs in this map. Because this is one of the challenges that my Patreon page has made me do. So we have created a super warm map. As you can see, these mountain chains look absolutely amazing. Let's move on. I believe that there's a different biome over this mountain, but let's check it. Yes, it's the green badlands biome. Let's load in a bit more. As you can see, this biome blends pretty nicely from a badlands to this. I call it a green badlands since it's extremely lush, has a lot of jungle animals, and again has a spectacular view on the mountain. In this biome, if you ever want to farm for seeds or so, then this is your biome, since it's almost completely overrun with grass. This mountain chain highlights some of the challenges that I try to incorporate into the worlds. And one of them being that if you are in one area, it is difficult to go to a completely different area. What I always find, and in default Minecraft, you can simply walk anywhere, anytime, and without real consequences. If you want to explore here, if you want to explore in Savannah, you have to be prepared for yourself. You have to be able to find your way back, but also bring enough supplies to make it. We have now stumbled on a savanna biome, and as you can see, these are quite flat with these nice, not palm-like trees, but umbrella-like trees. In the distance we can see two different boats, by the way. You will also find towers like this across the map. Now you might be wondering, what are these? These are monster spawners, and you can imagine that there's a challenge for you to conquer here. First you have to defeat the bottom layer spawner, but then if we go up, there's always a secondary spawner. This secondary spawner is always the more difficult one. So for instance, here we have a skeleton one and a wither skeleton one. However, you also have a spider variant where there's a normal spider down here and a cave spider up here. I will not spoil the other variants, but you can imagine that there's quite a level of difficulty. Since if you're down here fighting your skeletons, the wither skeletons already are spawning. Also in here you will find randomized loot which you can find in mob spawners. Up below you can see that there's a smoke signal coming from, so even if you cannot see them directly, you will always be able to spot them through the smoke, as you can see over there and there. Next up we find a cherry forest. I have deliberately chosen to not use only cherry trees, but also use some greenery, since I really like the contrast it gives with the blue cliffs. You might be wondering, okay, what are these blue cliffs? They're just prismarine, so a naturally obtained block. This is in Savannah the only place where you would be able to find cherry trees or cherry saplings. So make sure you keep an eye out for this biome. Next up we have a lush volcano, and a lush volcano just means that it's a volcano completely filled with trees. Up here you can see that the crater has been completely overgrown by trees, but that the general shape extends upwards. If we then move a bit towards here, we are again in our spawning region, and now we are in the volcano biome. The volcano biome contains magma, fossils, very dark stones, and of course a nice crater from which magma flows down again. This would be an ideal place if you want to make a house in hell, since also the sky changes to the nether colors instead of the normal default colors. Lastly, I'm going to try to find my way towards the village, since as you can see, we have not seen any villages just yet. This means that they are quite rare, which in my eyes they should be. So let's try to find one. While we're doing that, we're flying over a forest, a jungle. There's a nice forest biome over here, and we just move along. Again, as you can see, the theme of the map is quite warm. Ta-da! And here we are. Let me render in some chunks for you to see how the village looks and what the backdrop of it is, since I think that this is one of my most prettiest villages I've ever made. It is next to a baobab biome, as you can see, with some pretty sharp cliffs. And inside this village, and I hope that these will spawn, you will find houses for all kinds of professions. So let's just walk into this one. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm in some different form of Minecraft. But for instance, this is the archery version. Creative. Oh, game mode, survival. Yes. For instance, this is the archery with villagers. As you can see, from these villager spawners, they will spawn villagers, and these villagers will directly move to one of the houses, making them a citizen of the village. Normally, there's only around 1 or 2 spawners per village in order to not make it too much. In this archery village, you can see, in this archery house, you can see that the chests are indeed meant for the archery. If we now look into a different house, so let's try this one. This one looks like a shepherd. Let's see if we can find a tree. No, there's no chest in this house. So let's move on to the next one. This one, the cutlery. Let's go up. Nothing here. Each house is uniquely designed in order to make the experience as unique as possible. And as you can see, there's villagers all around the village now. And we can see that there's two spawners. So that's nice. These villages usually have quite a nice backdrop, since I try to place them on higher located areas. Since in real life, if you would make a village in medieval times, you would likely do so either near a water source or somewhere quite high. Here is the normal forest. The normal forest consists of all the types of trees you can imagine and all the types of leaves you can imagine, therefore ensuring that you will always find what you want inside a forest. Then I believe we have a nice plains biome over here. Let me again load it in a bit. So we have some nice views on the background. These plains biomes consist of these giant assets from which you can make some really cool and unique designs. They also contain villages again, with the similar style as the villages we have just seen. We again have the green badlands, but I think that I'm going to end the video over here. Let's see. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. It's the first time for me to make such videos, and if you would like to check out the world, check out my Patreon in the description. It would help a lot. Due to the support I get from there and on my Discord server, I like to make maps like these for you to play on. With that said, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Don't forget a like, perhaps a comment, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao ciao!